Okay, so here we go. This is, and I'm not positive I've posted everything that we've done either. I think so. But this is a Design 350. It's our lab. The recording is on. It's Friday the 12th, and we're going to just be going over a little bit of work on our project two. So let me pull that up so that you can see it. And I wanted to show a couple of things. One, I wanted to do a little bit of an update for you because I went back and, the other day I just put numbers in. I wanted to give you a better look and see what the property really looks like. And then I want to show you how to bring in your trailer plan, tiny house plan, things like that from your last one. Okay, so you can actually just import things from your last project. So let's take a look and see what everything is looking like now. Oh, and I wanted to show you how to do some property schedules and how to do existing and new and separate them. So here's what I've got. I've changed this now. Sacramento County, Arden Arcade, Winding Way vicinity map. I'm kind of thinking you've got that. General notes. That didn't take anything, but I renamed a few of those things. Proposed case use. Maybe you've worked on that, maybe you haven't. Compliance statements. And here's really what I've got. So I've got Winding Way, and I redid the thing, and I threw in some trees, and I put building pads in about where those were based on the Google map. I put that there's a 4 lot development over here, an Episcopal church, although I don't really remember. I think it's actually a Seventh day Adventist church, and Winding Way. Um, and I just put a little tag that says how big it is. And then I put this property schedule on here. So I want to show you how to do the property schedule. So it's a property schedule. And when you go in to make it, if you make a new schedule, let me go into the view and schedules and quantities. It's under sites, and I know this is a little hard to read, it's kind of small, but you'll go to sites, and it's property line. Now I don't remember which. Is it property lines? I think is what it is. And that lets you put in, yep, there it is, the name, and I put in a comments field, and I put in an area. So it's one called property lines. Okay, so that's how you set it up. And so I'll go into my one here. And so I've got existing and the area. Now, how did I get that? If I go back to my existing and I click on the property, this all comes up. So I can give it a comment and I can give it a name, and the area comes up. And then if I go to my new proposal, I can click on a property and I can give it a comment which is new, and I can call it lot 1, and it has an area, and I can click on my new lot 2. So I'm just typing in here what I'm going to put down. So I drew my new properties and I drew my common area, so that when I do a property, I get this. Now, how did I get that? I looked at the fields, name, comments, area, and here's the trick. I can filter those by the comments and I can say, show me everything that contains existing. Okay, and then of course I can do my appearance, get rid of the blank rows, and my format to center them, and I get this one. And I renamed it existing. Then if I make a copy of that, so here's my copy. I went right click, make a copy, duplicate the view. So I made a copy of it. And now it's got, of course, the same fields, but I changed the filter so that my comments were new. And then I did sorting by comments and then by name because I wanted my comment first and lot 1, lot 2, lot 3. And then my formatting and appearance stayed the same. So that's how I get my new property schedule. So that's kind of a, like, wow, I got it. That's really cool. And so when you come to your existing site plan, you can add that to the sheet. There are other things that I could do. I could put a building pad. How many building pads are there? How many trees are there? I could put areas of, all sorts of stuff. If I wanted to, I could add more information, but this will be sufficient. Okay, so that's how you put these property schedules on, because we're going to break this into 3 properties. So then I did a proposed site plan, and we talked about this and how you can, make it a triangle or make it a square or, make it come up here and make the common area over here. Right? There's all sorts of ways to do this. And look, I didn't show the building pads here. I should have. All sorts of stuff that I could add to make this better. I need to make a new construction for a primary residence, maybe. But this gives you the idea of what goes on this one. You might have in your existing in your proposed stormwater pollution plan, you might be showing, over here what you're going to demo, what trees you're going to remove and which ones you're going to fill. So the idea for this week: project proposal, general notes, proposed use case. Maybe you get it done, maybe you don't. Compliance statements, they're pretty standard. Existing site plan. And then proposed site plan. If you can get that done, we can start talking about your idea. But let me show you another real easy way to get these detail sheets in. I'm going to delete those and then show you how to bring them in from your prior project. Okay, so if I go to my insert, I can insert from another file. So I'm going to insert views from a file. So let me go find out where I'm going to insert them from. I'm going to take them from my project 1 file. And then it's going to ask me, well, what do you want? I'm going to look for my tiny house floor plan, tiny house foundation, plumbing, and trailer plan. That's what I want. And I'm going to undo this detail sheet. I don't want that. So there we go. Bink. And now those are in here. If I look at my list, it's this one that I just brought in. And it's this one that I just brought in. And it says, so I've done this a number of times. I was going to make a video and I practiced and I didn't. So those now all exist. So on my detail sheet, I can add a view, right click, add a view. I want my tiny house floor plan. Oh, there it is. And I can right click, add it. So this is very quick because these are going to be the same ones that you had before. So tiny house floor plan, and then what was it? The trailer plan? And then go to my next sheet. So this should take you almost no time at all. Where's add a view? And then I think it was my foundation plan, because these are still needed for this project, right? Gonna have tiny houses. They're just not necessarily going to be for foster youth. And the plumbing plan. Where's my plumbing plan? There we go. So this is showing you and I'm not sure if you've done this before on a project. Maybe you have and maybe you haven't. But this is really where the type of application that we want to teach you to do this with. Okay, so that's what I wanted to go over and show you. I wanted to show you how to put those schedules on and how to create them. And now you've seen what goes on a schedule. Let's look at those fields. Name, comments, area. Filter it by the comments. Sort it by comments. That's easy. Format. And I made them all alignment center. Okay, and then get rid of that blank. And then you can duplicate that and make your next one. All right, so let me open it up now for questions and see if I've already answered questions or if we need to go over something.
How do you insert that in again? From the other file?
Okay, let me do that again. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to go, you go to, well, so let me erase those and I'll do the whole process one more time because it's good to watch.
I think I just missed like one minor
So
thing.
here they are. So it's under Insert.
Okay.
So I'm on the Insert tab and I go to Insert from File. And I click the tiny little arrow and I'm going to insert views from another Revit file. Now it will only do things like drafting views and things like that. It won't insert like a rendered view or a plan view or something. It's got to be like a drafting view.
Okay.
So I'm going to go find insert views from another file, and then I'm going to go, oh, I know, I've got another cool file. And a lot of companies have a big file that they use that just stores all this stuff and you go look for it. But in this case, I'll uncheck sheets. I don't need specific sheets. I want to find those drafting views. There's the trailer plan, plumbing plan, foundation plan, and floor plan. So those are the ones that I want in this case. So there we go. And if your maps were already done in another one, you can do that. So now they're in there. They're in my details now, and now you'll see it says, well, you've done this 4 times now. You've got it, and then you did it again, and you did it again, and you did it again. So this number shows that I've done it a whole bunch of times. But that's the one I just put in. And that's the one I just put in. That's the one I'm looking at. So it can get kind of hard to figure out when you have too many of them, but so there they are. Then I go to my detail sheet. I'm going to right click on the sheet and add a view. And then I can come over here, and I think it was the floor plan went first. So there it is. Select my floor plan out of all the views. I think I can do it over here too. Can I add a sheet? No. I've got to come over here, right click, add a view, and then I think it was my trailer plan. Detail sheet, right click, duplicate, add a view, and then I think it was my foundation, and right click, add a view, plumbing. There we go. Was that good? Did that demonstrate that one a little bit better this time?
It did. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Did you have other questions that I didn't cover yet?
Maybe I missed it in one of the other lectures, but so there is already existing property on like existing homes
Yes.
on there. So we have to make sure that we are putting the pads as close to where they're at, or
For the existing, yeah. And I just did the Google map
because when
to
I looked
find
on
it.
there, I was looking at where they were at, and I know that when we were kind of discussing where we would put a right of way or like the different lots, the right of way would have been right down where the properties are. So I wasn't sure if we were still doing it as if those same properties are there, or if we can kind of reconstruct it however we
You,
wanted to. But I know that.
yeah. So for the existing, you want to show it pretty much where it is. And this one, this thing that's there, I think it belongs to these people. It's this one and this one. Those are the two. And so you can choose to demolish this or make it a garage or whatever. You're Once you've got your existing done, you can demolish everything if you want. Um, but my suspicion is that you want to leave this one, even if you demolish that one, and build the other ones new.
Okay. Well, I know that one of them was just remodeled when I was looking up the information on it. So ideally, I guess we wouldn't want to demolish it. At least that one. The other one, maybe. And I'm sure it's an old photo, but looked like there was a lot of things in the yard.
Yeah, yeah. And so, really, if you keep this one kind of in place, oh, let's see, hold on a sec. Um, where is where is that main one? This one. See, now it's looking kind of weird. I think, okay, so this I think belongs to these. Here's the main. This is probably the main one. And then there's some small structure over here
And those
that,
we can demolish any of those
yep,
smaller structures. Okay.
yep.
I just wasn't sure when I was looking at it. I was like, okay, maybe I missed this part on whether we're allowed to demolish certain structures, like the smaller ones at least, because I figured the bigger one, because it was just recently remodeled and it was actually sold, I believe, at the beginning of this year. Um,
Yeah. And I think actually the one, it's really hard to see, but I think it sits right under these trees here. Um, I think that's just a gargantuan tree, and the remodeled one is right under there. So it's kind of funky, right? This is kind of funny looking. And this one is the accessory dwelling unit, or the other one that's fairly reasonable. But you could, if you want, just kind of like pull this in, put it in there, call that the main house, this the other one, and then do whatever you want.
okay. Okay. So then I can keep that back property the way that it is.
Yep.
Okay. And then kind of distribute out the rest of the
Yeah,
property.
and that's sort of like what I did on on this one. I just kind of said, okay, I'm keeping all that. That's I'm just bonk chopping that, and then I'm putting in these two new ones, and I'm saying a new construction there. This one would probably be up here. This one's not. I didn't really relabel this, um, but I just figured, that's okay.
So
That's
then on
something. That's not even really a. This isn't a great one, but I thought that the ability, if this house was up here and this one was down here, two tiny homes near the common area is kind of nice. You know, who knows?
Okay, and then what's I gonna say? The so as far as the existing site plan, should I put all of the things that are currently on there right now, as far as like the smaller accessory dwelling units and the other? Um,
If Yeah, you should put the main one and then that other one. Like this one's not really in the right place. It really should be kind. I just threw something on there. Should be kind of like right here, right?
okay,
If I go to this, it should probably be kind of like that. That's probably more like what is in reality right there, right? And this might even be a little bit farther forward, and this might even be a little bit more this way. But you can just trace those off of there. And then you don't need to show the little thing and the boat thing and blah, blah, blah. And, you can put these trees in a little bit better if you want. I was just throwing something in just really quick. And I think that that one's in Adventist.
it is, yes, yes, a Seven-Day Adventist church. So then I can just put a couple of the main things in there. I don't need to put any of the other things that are in there. And
Right.
then as far as so that's for the existing site plan. So for the proposed site plan, that's just basically how what I'm planning on putting on there as far as the residents and things like that.
Yep.
Okay, and then I have to say whether I would be planning on taking any trees out or removal of anything like that.
Yeah. And you would
Okay.
just put that as a note um, over here on your proposed. You could just put a note in a drafting view or even on this sheet, requires removal of 14 existing mature trees. They'll be replanted on site, blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever you want to say on that.
Okay, and then you want us to put the property schedule on the proposed site plan.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
not critical, but it's really a good thing to do because now this becomes a real easy thing for them to look at and go, got it,
Okay.
got it.
And then for the, let me see, on the proposed use page, what should we be putting down for the project utility requirements or the existing project utilities?
We can wait on that till next week
Okay.
because I really want more. This one has a little bit more independent thought and focus on this proposed site plan.
Okay.
But you can certainly get the similar projects in project map because that's super simple, and you can get the project zoning. But these two, you can sort of the project utilities and the what's there already, we can leave until next week.
Okay. And then the on the compliance statements, um, obviously, I'm sure they're probably not planning on using federal funding.
Correct, unless you're thinking of, you know, doing something that, unless you're looking at doing part of a SACOG grant or something that benefits the community and you're looking for a federal grant,
Okay.
or you're looking at applying this to the same type of a deal where you want to focus on foster youth housing or anything like that. But you'll you can leave this one blank right now unless they're looking at FHA loans. So if you're
Okay.
looking at at any kind of requirements that might be getting federal loans for the properties, then you would be thinking that it would be.
Okay.
And you
And
could
then
just put in, none planned um, other than potential FHA loans, which then that lending agency would make you go through the process.
okay, and then as far as the current use is just a residence right now, right?
Yep, yep,
Okay, and then the proposed use is basically whatever we want the proposed use to be as far as the, well, they should be residences, but then also one accessory dwelling unit being a
right,
business?
right. And
Okay,
you could call it a urban infill project as the proposed use. Urban infill um, housing project.
okay, and then as far as, the variance, proposed variance, do we plan on having any proposed variance?
I don't think so. In this case, everything should be like sitting right there.
Okay,
Should
I
be.
didn't think so, but I wanted to make sure,
Yeah,
I think I have everything pretty much done with the exception of I just need to draw up the existing site plan and the
right.
proposed site plan, and I think I'm done
Yeah, the only
for this week.
variance is if you are looking at putting some sort of a business that would take health code like what you were talking about maybe having a food service or something that went outside of that ghost kitchen requirement,
Mhm.
then you would look for a variance to, you know, allow food service or allow some level of sales or something, or, I need a parking variance or something. But at the most basic, where it's just an urban infill for a residence, you wouldn't need one.
Okay. Okay, but I would need one if I was doing food.
Probably.
Okay. So then I might need to rethink whether I wanna do a coffee shop in there.
Well, I mean, and look, you don't have to do anything extra right now. You would just write, you know, food service, food service, um, food, small food service site variance request. That's,
Okay.
you're just showing that you've thought it through. You don't have to do any work for it.
Okay.
So I think it's a cool idea. So I'd like to see that. I think it's a really, really neat idea.
Yeah, and I think it would be good too, especially like I was looking at other places all around and seeing how far it would be for the nearest coffee shop, how far it would be for the nearest um, um, restaurant and things like that. And I mean, most of them are pretty, they're pretty close by within driving distance. But if you don't have a car,
Right.
a lot of things actually take quite a while, at least 45 minutes or more in walking distance.
Wow. Wow.
So, and that, that's most, things and stuff. Obviously, there's a lot that are over in the Arden Arcade area, but as far as like bars and pubs or restaurants or coffee shops, things like that, I was seeing that most of them walking would take about 45 minutes. Now, obviously, you can, ride a bike
Right.
or drive, and most, a lot of people drive, but yeah, it was just interesting to see that.
Cool. Oh, that's yeah. This is a truly, truly big residential area, isn't it?
Yes, yes, but then you know what I mean, the nearest church is obviously next door, but,
Right. Right.
but if you have another church that you go to, like, there's lots
Yeah.
of places that are around and nearby.
Yeah. If that doesn't happen to be your faith, that doesn't do you much good.
Right, right,
So,
but then I'm sure that there's a transit that's not too far away as well. I know there were plenty that were around, I just didn't check to
well,
see walking distance.
I think if you look, it's still a 15, 20-minute walk because I think the nearest one is College Oak,
Okay, yeah.
you
Yep.
know?
Yeah, I think
So,
you're right.
and that's where, maybe an electric bike, that would be something to think about is a charging station for electric bike, electric motorcycle, electric car.
Yes.
That could be a cool thing too.
Yes. Well, and then the nearest college would be ARC, and
Yep,
that would be another 20-minute walk.
right.
So, I mean, not bad, not bad. People do it if they need to, but,
Yep, yep. So, okay.
okay, so you want the project proposal, general notes, proposed use code, compliance statements, those done, and as well as the existing and proposed site plans.
R- Right. And so because I think these ones you can kind of crack out pretty quick,
Mhm.
right? Um, and at least you've got started and kind of like moving along. And that way we can do a little bit more that we didn't, these two are kind of done, the detail sheets. So next week we can really talk about these three plans that we didn't do last time. And we
Okay.
can delve into those a little bit more.
And then I know that on the compliance statements, the last time you had us leave the bottom 3, open, you didn't have us finish those.
Yep.
Um, so this time you want us to go ahead and fill those in and fill them out?
Well, you know what? I'm not sure they really apply. So I think you can leave those empty again. Because we're really not getting into SACOG or anything like that. I mean, if you want to, you can just say does not. You can write not applicable. And here, we talked about the trees are the main thing on this one. So you might just put down, the Art and Arcade Tree Commission or something like that.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Doesn't look like here's it's under SACOG. It doesn't look like they have um, an actual. tree foundation. So you might just say that you're going to coordinate with um, neighborhoods, community-led movement to improve our neighborhood. Um, so like Davis has um, Tree Davis. It's like that does a lot of work with the planning commission and stuff. So you
So just put
could,
it
yeah,
neighborhood.
Art and Arcade, Neighborwoods, and it's sacktree.com, Art and Arcade.
Okay.
So there it is right there.
And
And
Sac Tree.
then and then
Okay.
if you want to, you could even put their logo in there, right? You don't have to do
Mhm.
nearly that much work.
Okay.
Um, same Urban Wood Rescue, deforestation, Art and Arcade. So yeah, um, that would be sort of like, and that way you'd have sort of an official thing that says you're not cutting down any protected oak trees or anything like that.
Right. Okay. Awesome. And then on the compliance statements as well. So existing parking spaces, I think I saw in there was one.
Yeah, that one's kind of hard. Um, they really, it's kind of funny what they've got. You could call it probably two, um, because they've got plenty of room up here, and most houses ask for two.
Okay. And then the maximum allowable dwelling units. So the existing right now would be one residence and one accessory dwelling unit. And the max allowable dwelling units would be three residents and three ADU.
Yeah, I think actually that they are allowed. I think they're RD2.
They are.
So RD2 would allow two. Let me see what I've got.
I know they were multifamily, right?
Yeah,
So it could be like a duplex.
yeah, let's see. Yes, so they are currently allowed. Um, they're currently allowed two plus an accessory dwelling unit, which gives them 3 units.
Okay, on
Eh,
each lot.
Well, so no, so currently they have one lot and they can have 3 units. That's the existing. The new would allow 3 units with three accessory dwelling units, so that would be 6.
Okay, so three. Let's see, 3 units, and that's what they would be the maximum
Right,
allowable.
right
And then right
now,
now, the existing dwelling units is two.
correct.
Okay. And then I don't know if I did it correctly on my last one, but as far as talking about the existing built ratio and the proposed built area ratio,
Right.
do we do that as like a percentage based
Yep.
on the square footage? Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so you would take, in this case, you would take, think. Come on. For the existing, you would take the area of this residence, the area of this residence, and the area of that circular drive, the right of way.
Okay.
And you would divide that by the total square feet of the lot.
Okay. Because that's what I was trying to do on the last one when, also when we were doing
Mm-hmm.
the ingress and egress, and then, um, so I highlighted each of the regions, and it gave me the square footage on those, and then I took that by um, the maximum square footage of the lot that we had,
Right.
and I put the percentage down, but then I was like, I don't know if I was supposed to do the percentage or,
Yep, that's
you know.
that's what it is. And
Okay.
then and then the tiny houses are really interesting. Since they're movable, you could consider them as not part of the built area. But if you pour a concrete pad for them to sit on or compress the gravel for them to sit on so they don't sink in the mud, it becomes built area.
Okay, even
So,
if it's gravel?
yeah, so I'm going to count those as built area.
Okay.
And so then when you look at the proposed, how much of this is paved of this common area, plus driveways, plus building pad, plus tiny house, right? So, and you'll just estimate that out. And we'll be far, far under the limit, but it's still a number that wants to be seen.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, no, those were the only, questions that I really had. I had gotten started on most of it. Like I said, the only 2 things that I have left is the existing and the proposed site plan,
Cool.
just because I wanted to get, I wanted to ask those questions as far as the, existing residence that was already on there and what all we had to include.
Yep.
But, yeah, awesome.
Okay. Cool. Well, that sounds great. I'll look forward to seeing the good work in the submittals, and this weekend I'll probably try to grade a little bit more than I have in the past. Yay. All right. Sounds good. I'm going to turn off the recording.